Hello, everyone. Welcome to TalentEgg Talks with Career Connections. Today, we'll be exploring emerging trends and exciting opportunities in Canada's property and casualty insurance industry. My name is Trevor Buttram, and I'm the Director of Operations at TalentEgg. Today, we will be delving into how insurance is redefined by today's game changers like artificial intelligence, digital transformation, and cybersecurity. I will be joined by several special guests, each with a unique vantage point and valuable tips to share about how you can hatch your career in insurance. Before we begin, a quick reminder, you can learn more about Career Connections, their upcoming events, and all that the industry has to offer on talentegg.ca. Also, this video will be available on TalentEgg's YouTube channel, as well as on our social media platforms. Let's get things started by introducing Beverly Lewis Hunt. She is the Career Connections Program Officer at the Insurance Institute of Canada. Welcome, Beverly.
Happy to be here.
Bev, I wanted to kick things off with you by having you tell us a little bit more about Career Connections.
Career Connections is a division of the Insurance Institute of Canada, and we're a national education program, essentially coast to coast. And we help students and new grads understand a little bit about insurance, its vital role that it plays in our society, and of course, give them a bit of understanding about the rewarding career opportunities that exist.
Sounds like there's a lot sort of going on within the industry, lots of different rewarding career opportunities, and a lot of valuable tools that you have available for students and new grads. Beverly, why should a career in insurance be on the radar of students and new graduates?
Well, it's actually an industry that is not boring. It's very innovative, challenging. No 2 days are the same, and very diverse. We like to say that insurance is not what you think, it's actually a whole lot more. And I think the students, by exploring a bit about the insurance industry, will see how that rings true.
I'm excited to hear more about how the industry and its career paths are continuing to evolve. Let's get cracking by welcoming our first special guest and industry ambassador. John McClellan is a partner at McClellan Insurance and a leader in building the next generation of customer experience and digital applications in the insurance industry. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Trevor. I'm excited for our conversation today.
Let's jump right in. What exactly is the next generation of customer experience, and what role do digital applications play in shaping it within the insurance industry?
So one of the things that we're seeing is digital natives are growing up. They're out there in the marketplace, they're buying cars, they're buying homes, they're starting businesses. And when they go to purchase their insurance, they're sometimes finding the experience isn't quite what they're expecting. They're expecting it to be as simple as buying something on Amazon or ordering an Uber. So we're focused on trying to improve the experience of buying insurance through things such as making it easier to quote, making it easier to purchase policies, having flexibility in payment terms and terms of the policies, ultimately to provide better customer experience, a more modern customer experience for those consumers.
John, I think our audience can absolutely relate to what you're saying, is sometimes insurance has this perception of being boring or behind the times, or perhaps, not as seamless as, the other experiences that you refer to them as digital natives would have. But from your vantage point, what opportunities and potential rewards does a career in insurance have to offer students and new grads at this point in time?
The usual reasons to get into insurance that everyone on this call that's reviewing this video has probably heard. It's very stable through times of uncertainty, and everyone always needs it. But I think the most compelling reason for students to get involved in the insurance sector right now is because of how much change we'll be going through in the coming years. We're at the start of a transformative journey where our businesses, 10 years from now, they won't look the way they do today. And I think it'd be very exciting for the students to be part of that journey and to evolve their careers alongside with our industry.
Absolutely, John. And I couldn't agree more that, from my perspective, it seems like that insurance is actually at the forefront of some of these game changers and, is riding the wave and is going to be able to offer opportunities for students to be able to build from the ground up. What are some of the other ways that you see AI, big data, and emerging technologies as redefining the business of insurance?
Yeah, there will always be a role for brokers to be providing advice for their customers. There will always be a role for underwriting to be done by humans. We're going to have people looking at these risks. However, what I see happening is it's going to become heavily augmented by technologies like AI. in big data. Quoting, as an example, should be automated to allow the broker more time to provide tailored advice to their customers. Underwriting is going to be augmented by larger data sets, so insurers will get more efficient with using data that they have access to. With bringing in third-party data, these rating algorithms will get more and more complicated, so they'll be using technologies like AI to keep it all straight.
It sounds to me like it will give the human element an opportunity to really focus on more complex risks and also to provide a higher degree of customer service. So using these assistive technologies. So really exciting time. If you could tell your early career self one thing or offer a piece of advice to those who are listening today who are curious about how they can hatch their career in insurance, what would it be?
When I started my career 15 years ago, I was very ambitious. I was educated. I thought I was bright and knew what I was talking about. And then being told what to do by my more experienced boss. It can be a very difficult thing when you're starting off your career to keep that fire. What you end up learning is how little you know in those first 2 years of your career. Truly, it's lifelong learning as you go through it. There's good reasons why some things are done a certain way. Sometimes there's not for other things. And to be able to have that experience to draw upon and say, no, this is a broken process that we could improve with newer technologies, as an example, and you actually know what you're talking about because you've developed your career to that point where you've got the experience to draw on is really valuable.
John, I really appreciate you making time for the conversation today. I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of amazing experiences and opportunities awaiting early career talent. We hope that they're going to choose a career in insurance.
Thanks for having me, Trevor.
Our next guest is Chloe Lyons. She is the Director of Recruitment for Apollo Insurance, a digital-first insurance organization, and has over 10 years of experience in talent acquisition. Welcome to TalentEgg Talks, Chloe.
Thanks for having me, Trevor.
Chloe, tell us about Apollo. What makes it unique in the insurance marketplace?
Great question, Trevor. Apollo is a digital MGA. We have both retail and wholesale operations through our broker portal, embedded partnerships, and direct-to-consumer model. We have created a proprietary platform to sell insurance through, truly creating a one-stop shop for brokers and consumers to use our technology to buy insurance in personal, commercial, and professional liability lines in 5 minutes. We also have a pretty amazing team, I will say.
Really quite like a unique position within the insurance market. How is technology intersecting with the insurance industry? How are roles evolving in the sector as a result?
Yeah, I think in 2022, we're going to expect technology to really facilitate the ease of doing business in the insurance industry. So some hot topics that we'll see will be voice technology, blockchain's a big topic, drones is still a hot topic, emotional intelligence technology. So consumers are really moving towards using these digital channels to conduct business in a more convenient manner. So you'll see that really impacting the insurance industry online and how folks will want to purchase insurance and conduct that insurance business using technology. So that will really impact roles in the industry. For example, customer service reps using live chat functions, claim reps turned into drone pilots, and heavy focus on analysis and making data-driven decisions.
Wow, it sounds like that there's a lot of change and shift and evolution in the roles within the business. From your perspective, what skills are going to be required or are emerging as critical for a successful career in insurance?
I think it starts with education. Education is really important. Even learning high level about some of these trends will be incredibly valuable in your career in insurance, starting with simple tools as well that can make your life easier in your own work and in your own role. So leaning into technology, finding ways to use it to enable you to be able to focus on the good stuff, which is ultimately building those human connections and building relationships. Critical thinking is going to be huge, and focusing on really how to interpret data and turning it into a so what for the business will be critical as well.
Sounds like that there's going to be diverse backgrounds and expertise required, and anyone who said insurance is boring, I think really needs to be thinking otherwise. From your vantage point at Apollo, what excites you most about being a part of the organization and just a part of the transformation that the industry is undergoing right now?
Yeah, I think at Apollo, we definitely were a bit of ahead of the digitization rush in the industry. It has been really our value prop since day one, and majority of our growth as an organization was in 2021 in the height of COVID and our new virtual life, of course. And the transition and transformation that we're seeing really emphasizes using technology to bridge the digital world with the physical world. And some examples would be increase in health and fitness platforms last year. We saw a huge rise in that, particularly mobile platforms. So that will inevitably drive the need for more cyber risk insurance and cyber risk products. So you'll see more carriers building those types of products to meet those needs, and also niche products like event cancellation, wedding cancellation insurance. That was, a big push last year as well. It's also pretty exciting to see this entrepreneurial spirit really kind of come alive and be stronger than ever. Business ownership is definitely increasing, so that will inevitably result in job creation and economic growth, which is pretty exciting.
That is really exciting. And, I can see from your passion that you're excited to be a part of the business, and your role is bringing that excitement and enthusiasm and transferring that to those who are just launching their careers within the industry. So fantastic to see. One thing that we've seen and heard from students quite a bit is a wondering about how they can stand out as a new graduate. So what can they be doing to prepare themselves to respond to the industry's evolving business needs?
I did see in a Gartner survey recently, I think more than 70% of consumers of all ages prefer self-service online rather than calling a customer service line, as an example. So a tip would be, really learn how to communicate effectively through digital channels, email, chat. It's, how I communicate with my friends most of the time, but effective communication is going to be a really important skill. Also, how to build relationships digitally and virtually will be important, but in general, do market research, stay on top of the trends, really show your interest and dedication to the industry as well through education, through networking, projects, and building connections. That's definitely a way to stand out. And as an example, if I receive 200 applications for a job, I'm going to obviously start by screening based on skills and qualifications, but then I narrow by desire, alignment to our core values as an organization, and that really innovative thinking.
So making sure that you're customizing your application as well to the culture of the organization that you're applying to.
Yeah, very important.
Chloe, thank you so much for joining us. There are some really interesting things happening at Apollo and across the industry. You've offered some really valuable tips and information to our audience.
Thanks so much, Trevor. It's great to be here.
Our final guest is Tendai Moyo. She's the Senior Vice President of Client Experience and Cyber Practice Lead with Hugh Wood Canada Limited. And together, we'll be taking a closer look at cybersecurity and the influence it is having on the insurance marketplace. Welcome, Tendai.
Thanks, Trevor. Pleasure to be here.
Tendai, tell me, what is cyber insurance and what kinds of protection does it offer to organizations?
In this modern digital connected world, organizations cannot escape cyber risk. Cybercrime is at an all-time high. It's all over the news. When your network gets compromised by a hacker, you're faced with unbudgeted costs. I can give you a few of the costs that you're faced when you have a hack. The things you may have to pay for. You need legal support with respect to privacy legislation. You need to engage crisis communication specialists. There are breach notification costs as well. There are costs to hire a PR firm in some cases, depending on how large the hack is, data restoration costs, regulatory fines and penalties, and possible lawsuits resulting from the breach. A cyber insurance policy covers all this and gives you access to rapid response experts in a highly stressful situation. Having a cyber policy means you're not scrambling to find experienced people to deal with a cyber incident. The policy is a mechanism of support. You have a team that have handled several such incidents and know exactly what they're doing. The news tends to focus on the bigger organizations, but small companies are affected as well. And they're even easier to hack because they have less security, less budgets for security, not as much training as the larger organizations.
Yeah, it sounds like to me that there's so many different facets and so many different risks associated, and also different costs that, organizations may not even have been thinking about. I would imagine that cyber insurance means something and looks slightly different for each of your clients. And thank goodness it's there to be able to offer that protection against all the things that you've just been talking about. Can you tell us a little bit about the range of clients that you have the opportunity to work with and the nimbleness that might require in your day-to-day work?
Oh, yes, definitely. Our digitized world relies heavily on technology. Therefore, I work with all industry, which makes my job pretty exciting. One moment I'm dealing with manufacturing plant, and then the next a financial institution or healthcare, real estate firms, accounting firms, engineering companies, transportation, healthcare, you name it. It's everyone. So the entertainment sector as well. People never think of the entertainment sector, but there's that as well. My job is to build bespoke solutions for our clients because each of them are faced with different exposures. A hospital doesn't have the same exposure as a nightclub or a shipping company. So that's how my day goes, from one different industry vertical to another.
Wow, it sounds like that there's a lot of variety and that no 2 days are really the same. Yes. And also each client interaction sounds like that it would really have some unique nuances to it. Sometimes there's a misconception that you need to have a highly technical background to hatch your career in insurance, particularly, I would think, in the cyber insurance space. Can you share a little bit about your own career journey and how you came to be the cyber practice lead for your organization?
I got into insurance over 10 years ago. So my first job was home and auto insurance. Nothing to do with cyber at all. I didn't even know I'd be here 10 years later. I don't think it was even a thing back then. So after a couple of years in personal lines, I moved into commercial insurance. And this was dealing specifically with professional liability for architects and engineers. And then 4 years ago, I decided to specialize in cyber. I got my CIP designation from the Insurance Institute, which gave me a solid foundation. However, most of what I learned has been on the job. I have been at the same company for over a decade. I took the opportunity to learn and advance wherever there was an opening. I was willing to invest the hours in learning the different insurance coverages, leaning on the great team around me, signing up for additional courses and attending industry events and connecting with my peers to learn more. And here I am today. I'm a practice lead and a member of our management team. So not too technical, just a journey.
Sounds like, that's a great way to describe it, is that journey, and that it's been, a squiggly line, if you will, rather than a linear path. And that you've been able to, layer on or career build each step of the way, drawing on the experience that you have in one space and applying it in another. And in preparing for this conversation today, I was reviewing notes, and it sounds like you have a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And so you've been able to use that and leverage it, the critical thinking skills, the communication skills that come with that program. And I would imagine apply that very nicely in the kinds of interactions that you need to have with such a diverse client base.
Yes, interacting with different people, different situations has been very helpful, having that bachelor's degree.
And what advice do you have for students and new grads with an interest in a career focused on cybersecurity or even just insurance in general?
So for cyber insurance, I would say anyone interested in getting into this should be prepared to continuously be learning, following the trends, seeing what's going on around, taking courses, going to industry events that are focused on cybersecurity, and just being prepared to look at policy wordings and read them and understand them and speak to people that are in the industry. There are so many people, it's an industry that has been around for many, many years. So many people you can lean on for this. So that's the advice I have for anyone looking to get into insurance. Talk to someone in insurance like myself, and we'll tell you it hasn't been a straight path, and you can go from there.
Fantastic. Always great advice, and good to know that there are so many great voices of experience that students and new grads can tap into. Tendai, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for all the valuable insight into this emerging and exciting area of the industry.
Thanks, Trevor.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. But before we go, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. A special thank you to John, Chloe, and Tendai for answering all our questions and sharing such great insights with our viewers. I'm also pleased to have Bev rejoining us to share her final thoughts. Over to you, Bev.
Thanks, Trevor. That was a great discussion. I'd like to remind our students to check out our website at career-connections.info. There they're going to get a lot of resources and information, take a quiz, explore some of the pathways into the insurance industry. In addition, we have a listing of upcoming events. Of particular interest might be our industry days, where they'll get in touch with our industry employers, have their resumes in front of them, and also have an opportunity for some one-on-one coffee chat. So I encourage you to explore our website, and of course you can find us on TalentEgg.ca.
That's great, Beverly. Those sound like some really great resources and events for our audience. A big thank you to all of you for joining us. Don't forget to like and hit that subscribe button, and to visit TalentEgg.ca for more about career connections and the latest opportunities and exciting trends in the insurance industry. Be sure to check us out next time for TalentEgg Talks. Have an excellent day.